Okay, so meet Graham Platner. He's a marine turned oyster farmer who's being called the future of the left, being told he's the next Zohran Mandami. But he has only one big issue in his way right now, and that's the Democratic Party is completely throwing him under the bus. Where this starts is this woman right here, Susan Collins, who's been the senator of Maine for 29 years, and she's one of the most moderate Republicans in the Senate. And because of that, throughout the entire 2000s and 2010, she was very popular with a 65% approval rating, so she never had to struggle with re-election. That's all changed recently because Maine is a pro-choice state, so a lot of people blame Susan Collins because she voted for Amy Coney Barrett and Brett Kavanaugh, who were the ones that helped repeal Roe v. Wade. So because of that, Susan Collins' approval ratings in Maine have tanked, where now 57% of people disapprove her. Graham Platner is out there looking at this saying this is his chance to become a U.S. Senator, but the problem is the Maine Democratic Party doesn't think he has that great of a chance because he's aligned heavily with Bernie Sanders, he has these hard left views, and he's also never won elected office before, where he is ultimately an oyster farmer right now. There's also how Maine works as a state, where they've always elected very moderate governors, and also Susan Collins is a moderate, as well as the other Senator Angus King, where even though he caucuses with the Democrats, he was an independently elected governor and also senator, so he is a moderate himself. Because that entered this woman right here, Janet Mills. She's the governor of Maine. She got reelected in a landslide, winning by 11 points versus former governor Paul LePage, and she does have a 55% approval rating. So a lot of people in the Democrat Party think she's a much stronger pick to go against Susan Collins versus Graham Platner. But the problem is a lot of people in the hard left are resenting that she is a moderate, and also at the same time, they don't like how she's 77, which would make her the oldest newly elected senator ever. Now, 1 week after Janet Mills announced, a lot of really negative stuff is coming out against Graham Platner, where it's coming out he said that he was a communist on social media. It's coming out that he called the police curse words and said they shouldn't exist. And he also said rural white Americans are always racist and stupid. And all of this stuff was stuff he did actually post on social media. It is his real views as of 2 years ago, but he just deleted it because he didn't want to look bad for a Senate campaign. Obviously, a lot of what Graham Platner wrote is a death sentence to the campaign. Maine doesn't want a communist. They're a moderate state. Maine also at the same time is a relatively pro-cop state, and Maine is a very white state that's filled with rural people, so I don't think they want to be called stupid or racist. So there's a lot of things Graham Platner said that would probably give Susan Collins the election, but what's crazy about it is the Democrat Party knew about all these posts. They knew exactly what he was saying, but they did nothing until Janet Mills announced. This really just shows how politics works. Janet Mills is to the DNC the better option, so because of that, they're going to try to bring up everything against Graham Platner to try and get her elected. And honestly, the Republican Party probably had all that information on Graham Platner, but their hope was he would become the nominee, and then they put it all out the day or the week after to make Susan Collins look good and get her reelected. But with that, this is Red, Blue, and You, and with that, I'm Charles Peralta. Subscribe to learn something.